Now we've got two different bats here. If you can just throw some light, what an asset! Bat signed by great Sachin Tendulkar himself.
Well, this is signed by three great knights of cricket. So we have got here Sir Everton Weekes, Garfield Sobers, and Viv Richards. As in this and that, the value is not in the bat.
Absolutely.
The value is in the signature.
In the signature.
And they're obviously very, very hard to get signatures.
Of three together on the same one.
Three together and hard enough to get one. But it's disappointing to see Australia out of it. I tipped an Australia and India final. Looks like that's not going to happen now. And my dark horse was South Africa. So I think disappointing to see my own country fail. That's Sri Lanka. They need to get their act together.
Voice aajKal, our medium, your message.
Good day, everyone. My name is Navneet Anand from Voice aajKal, our medium, your message. Another episode of World Cup Gupshup T20 2024. But today, rather than talking about the matches, we would be talking about the quality of the bats, especially English willow. Who else can I invite here in Australia? An expert for over 50 years in the cricketing industry, Harry Solomons.
Navneet, all the pleasure.
Welcome
all my pleasure.
to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Kingsgrove Sports, you set it up here in Australia coming from Sri Lanka, I think 48 years ago.
Correct.
Now you have come up with a new store in Melbourne as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
First.
Thank you.
Talking about the English willow, the bats are very, very popular among all the top-notch players. What makes the English willow to be as a preferred bats for all the players?
Well, as far as history goes, as far as I've known, when cricket was first played, it was always English willow, and obviously it's called English willow because it's a produce of England. So, in terms of willow, you need English willow to make a good cricket bat. Obviously, all the expensive bats and all the bats used by modern day players and players of the past have always been from English willow. Of course, since then, people have been trying to produce obviously Indian willow, Kashmir willow. There is also willow now being made in Europe and other parts of the world. And even in Australia, they've tried to make the English willow. Unfortunately, it has been found that you need to be using English willow if you're playing good cricket.
The quality of English willow impacts the cricket bat's performance. How?
Well, there are different qualities. Obviously, there is grade 1 to about grade 6. Today, things have changed a fair bit in that. There could be 3 forms of grade 1. The limited edition one, obviously they pick the best of the grade 1 willows and it goes into limited edition. Then they could have something called a play edition bat.
Right.
So you could pick a grade 1 bat and then call it a play edition, and then you get grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. You could get a grade 2 plus. So you could pick a grade 2 bat and it might be a better grade 2 than a normal grade 2. So you could call it a grade 2 plus or a grade 3 plus. Having said that, it is not necessary that you should have grade 1 to have a good player's bat. I've known test players and league players today using a quality grade 2 or grade 3. You could get a quality grade 4 bat. It all depends on that particular ping. But of course, what we're now discussing now, or going to discuss now with you, is the fact that the cost of English willow.
So what are the characteristics that distinguish the English willow from other type?
Yes, English willow has a certain softness about it. It is able to also take a heavy cricket ball. Whereas if you, so basically English willow has a certain amount of dexterity and softness about it. So when you hit the ball, it comes off. Even if it cracks, it won't affect the performance of the bat. Then, of course, there is Australian willow, and they've tried getting English willow into Australia and planting it in places like Bendigo, in places in Victoria. But it has never been successful because, like Kashmir willow, it has a certain amount of hardness.
Right.
And because it's hard, it's basically like hitting the garage door. Whereas if you have English willow, there is a certain amount of give in the bat that makes the bat go better. Manufacturing, of course, over the years has changed quite a bit. Pricing has over the years changed, especially now as cricket gets more popular and there are more people playing the game. And
The demand has gone.
the demand has gone out of the door. At the moment, it's just crazy. We have a situation where there's more people in Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal playing cricket, and of course, the Indian population and the cricket participation level in India is just unbelievable. The popularity of the game there is unbelievable. So the demand is more, and also the fact that the Indians have become a more affluent society now. So they can today, unlike in the old days, afford
The affordability has gone better
afford
and better.
better bats and afford better grades of willow. But the big problem will be now that the game is also spreading in Europe
And
and
US?
in the USA. And this is going to be a major problem with the amount of willow that can be supplied to the world. The USA is just, it's just tailor-made for cricket, isn't it? Because of the massive subcontinental population there, and besides the subcontinental population of Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Sri Lankans, and Nepalese playing cricket in the USA, you got the English, you got the Australians and the New Zealanders, the Canadians living in England too, and they love their game of cricket. So once cricket after this World Cup becomes popular in the USA, there is going to be a shortage, in my opinion, of willow, especially in grade 1s and grade 2s. And this is just jacking up the price of the willow.
You know, when the manufacturers have to select the best of the best in English willow for productions, what is the criteria that they follow?
Well, it's obviously the best part of the timber. Obviously, is the ones with the beautiful grain. So what the manufacturers and the growers or the production people look for is the straight grain going right through to the bottom. The closer grain makes a good bat. So what they look for is obviously the lack of flaws in a bat, the lack of knots. Obviously, those will go into first grade and to limited edition bats. And then as you go along, there is the second grade where the grain is not all that perfect, and then third grade, and of course the fourth grade comes from the rougher parts of the willow tree, and that goes into fourth and fifth and sixth grades. And of course there is also the grades where there's a lot of imperfection, which they obviously cover up with sleeve or grain face and things like that. It's not necessarily bad bats, but doesn't look pretty in a shop. in terms of performance, you could get a good fourth grade bat. In terms of performance, you can get a good perfect fifth grade bat. But generally speaking, you need that top grade willow, first grade, second grade. And I know test players who have used third grade bats, and some
Okay.
of them with a bit of redwood on the side. Absolutely nothing wrong. I'm a firm believer that a bat, how you judge a bat, in my opinion, is obviously the pickup. If that suits you, that's great. And then the ping, the punch in the bat. If there is a beautiful pickup and it's a well manufactured bat, and the punch is there or the ping is there, I think that's the bat for you, you know.
The production is limited and the demand is increasing day by day because number of bat users are increasing after every series that happens. If I talk about harvesting first, tell me the process of harvesting.
Well, it can take 15 to 25 years
Right.
for a bat to, for a tree to grow, so it can be harvested. Now, this is the big situation where as the cricketing participation level goes, mind you, goes up, the bulk of the bats are all made in England. England can make only that many trees. You need 15 to 25 years before a tree grows and comes into production. So it's a long process of planning, and as this participation level grows, especially now in the United States and even in Europe, you know, there is a shortage of willow. And in India and Pakistan, a lot of people use Kashmir willow. There is also bats made out of poplar willow. So the cheap end of the market has to be fulfilled by obviously Kashmir willow. Now there is a massive population in Sri Lanka, places like Sri Lanka and Malaysia and India, Pakistan, Bangladesh that use Kashmir willow. Now you could get a good Kashmir willow bat, but it will never compare. Certainly not in price anyway, but it will never compare in terms of quality. You need to play that good game of cricket. You need the English willow.
Price. The way I'm trying to understand the production versus the demand, what do you think the prices are going to be skyrocketing over the roof?
Well, think about it, Naveen. When I first came to Australia, my first bat cost me $52. That was a beautiful English willow bat. In 48 years, I've seen the price grow. A few years ago, when we paid $600 or $700 for a top grade English willow bat, that was considered a lot of money. Now, today, we've just been told the top Steve Smith bat by New Balance or Kohli's bat by MRF, it's going to be $1,800.
Oh,
So, you know, a good first grade bat, people will struggle to buy a first grade bat unless they pay between 1,200 to 1,450 or so. And a second grade bat today, and even a third grade bat, we are looking at from next season coming to about $1,000. Now that's a lot of money. But having said that, you buy a top golf club and you can pay $2,000 for it, or $1,500 for it. So, you know, a good pair of soccer boots or football boots could cost $400 to $500. So the tool of the trade, where a good cricket is concerned, is a good cricket bat. And hopefully there'll always be a demand. But this demand is obviously causing the price to go up. We've just had a 30% increase
oh,
on cricket bats. So whoever's going to buy a bat next year, there's going to be a big increase in cricket bats, in the price of cricket bats, right through the grades. And it's going to be even tougher in a few years' time, because we've already been told for the 2025-26 season, that's the following season from next season, that the bats are going up another 20%.
Oh.
So, and the biggest issue is the limited quality of first grade and good quality second grade willow.
So what are the key factors that a player should look into a bat before he buys it?
Well, as I said, it's very easy to sell a bat to cricketers who can be very fussy. It's their tool of the trade. I think the most important thing is the ping, the ping, and
The weight.
whether it picks up well.
Okay.
There are people who like a lightweight bat. There are people who like a heavyish bat, a middle of the range bat. But it's the ping in that bat and that pickup if it suits you. And then if you can afford it, that's a bat for you.
Now we've got two different bats here. If you can just throw some light.
Yeah, this is very interesting, because now with the lack of English willow and the high price of English willow, people and manufacturers especially are looking for bats or willow made in other countries. Now, so obviously Kashmir willow made in India is very, very popular, and it's massive seller. 3 times or 4 times the quantity of English willow required, because there are so many poorer cricketers or low-end cricketers who need a bat, and who need a bat they can afford. So, but now manufacturers, all the good manufacturers, are also looking at other options, making bats grown in Europe, willow grown in Europe. This is a perfect example of a bat I'm testing now. That's English willow, quality English willow, grade 1, made in Scotland.
Okay.
Now I'm testing that bat, or I have tested a few of them. And the only problem is, it's beautifully manufactured, but the only problem is it still has that hardness in a cricket bat. You've got to get a certain amount of softness in a cricket bat to make it come off. The bat is very good. It's beautiful, clean bat. And this is made in Scotland. Now, this one is obviously made in Kashmir willow, and in Kashmir willow you get grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Most of the bottom end Indian and Sri Lankan, Pakistan population use Kashmir willow because that's what they can afford, especially in the outstations of India and in Sri Lanka and places like that. Kids cricket today in Australia is mainly Kashmir willow. Obviously, the top end individual kids buy English willow, but if a club or a school wanted a bat, that's what they can afford to buy. A Kashmir willow bat can run from anything from $100 going down.
Okay.
Whereas an English willow now is going to be from $350 going up.
Going up.
So we have a problem, because A is the shortage of English willow, B is the cost of the English willow. So with that, Kashmir willow is going to start getting a lot more
popularity. Yes.
And there is a rush to obviously get better quality Kashmir willow and better quality made Kashmir willow. So with the demand going up, we're also going to see a rise in Kashmir willow.
Are there any notable advancements or innovations in the treatment or processing for English willow cricket bats?
Oh, certainly. Over the years, I have seen the quality and advancements in cricket bats change so much. When I started business, the English willow was a thinner bat.
That's right.
Edges were thinner. The bats were much lighter, and obviously a bit harder. And then when the Indian manufacturers came into being, more bats manufactured in India and Pakistan, the bats have changed. As you can see now, in the old days when Doug Walters or Ian Chappell or Greg Chappell hit a six, it'll just clear the ropes or clear the fence. Now the Warners and the Smiths and the Kohlis are hitting them into the stands, hitting them into the third tier. So the manufacture of bats have changed. Bats need water. Willow needs water it needs water to grow in, and that's why England is very famous because of its weather, and especially a massive percentage of the willow comes from Essex in England and grown in wet farmlands where there are creeks and ravines and reservoirs or whatever. So it needs that wet willow to grow. But once the bat was made in the old days, water was taboo on a cricket bat. But now the Indians have developed the art of making cricket bats where they actually wet the bat. So that makes the bat expand, you get bigger edges, and not only that, when they roll the bat, they can add, by that wetness in a cricket bat, they can also bow the bat lightly. So there is that certain amount of bow in a cricket bat that makes the ball, especially in one-day cricket and T20 cricket, they need to hit up. And that extra bow, the extra edges, the bigger toe, the bigger shoulder makes the ball go further. So in the old days, the shoulders of the bat used to be small. Nowadays they're much bigger, and the same with the toe, and the same with the edges. So that manufacturing by slightly wetting the bat has also caused the bat to go a little bit more softer. So they get a lot more ping in cricket.
What wonderful information I could gather by talking to you. But moving away from this topic of English willow to this T20 World Cup, any of the players that you sponsored is doing well in the game?
Well, I think I can't afford the Indian players, and the Australian players, they're far too expensive. So, no, I've had a lot to do with a lot of the players. Obviously, most of them have been to the shop and they have bought their bats when they were kids, etc., etc. But it's disappointing to see Australia out of it. I tipped an Australia and India final. Looks like that's not going to happen now. And my dark horse was South Africa. So I think
Indians took the revenge of the World Cup final held in 2023 from Australia.
And they played well. They deserved it. Mind you, it was a very, very interesting match, wasn't it? It was a beautifully played game of cricket. And it seesawed. At one time I think Australia has their measure. And then, of course, we lost. I think it was Tonis and Maxwell to fairly careless shots, and then the game turned the other way again. It was a great match, though. It was just a superb, smashing match, which I really enjoyed watching.
What an asset! Bat signed by great Sachin Tendulkar himself.
Well, that's. I think Sachin came to Australia some time ago, and he got Grey Nichols to make his son a couple of bats. And of course, he signed a few bats. I introduced him to Grey Nichols, and he signed a few bats for Grey Nichols, and Grey Nichols presented me with one. So that's the great Sachin Tendulkar's bat on a Kashmir willow bat. It's not an expensive bat, but it's as Grey Nichols goes, it's a beautifully shaped bat. And this is an interesting one.
Tell me more about
Yeah.
this.
Well, this is signed by three great knights of cricket. So we have got here Sir Everton Weekes, Garfield Sobers, and Viv Richards. So three West Indian knights of cricket. Beautiful bat. As in this and that, the value is not in the bat.
Absolutely.
The value is in the signature.
In the signatures.
And they're obviously very, very hard to get signatures.
Of three together on the same one.
Three together and hard enough to get one.
I absolutely is enjoying this moment holding the bat in my hands. Not one, rather two of these. Thank you so much for giving us a chance to present these bats to our audiences
You're
to start
welcome.
with. What are the final words from your side on this World Cup?
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? India has to be now the hot favourites for that World Cup, and deserves it. So their cricketers are unbelievable, and that catch that Patil took to dismiss, I think, Marsh. That's out of the ordinary. And you watch the Indian players now, they've developed, they are big, they are solid, they are strong, they're well coached, they're very athletic. So they're going to be, if you watch the IPL, the number of cricketers they have.
It's very hard to
can't
choose.
even make
Yeah.
the side. It's just unbelievable, and these players like Pandya and Surya Kumar and all these guys. How good are they? And Gill is not in the side. They are in the sidelines, waiting to get picked. It's just an amazing cricket playing country. Disappointing to see my own country fail. That's Sri Lanka. They need to get their act together and improve a lot more. They need a few more Kumar Sangakkars and Mahalaja Wardens and Aravinda De Silvas and things like that. But good to see the Sri Lankan women do so well under Chamari Atapattu. South Africa, I see them as still as the dark horse. And these are T20 matches.
Afghanistan?
Tell you what, they are talented. They are talented. They've got batsmen, they've got fast bowlers, and it's so good for cricket to see them up there.
Look,
How good is that?
wonderful having a chat with Harry Solomons from the Kingsgrove Sports. My name is Navneet Anand, signing out for Voice aajKal. Our medium, your message.
Thank
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
VT Times. Be with the times.